Hi, boys.
What's up, boss?
Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to today's Passage of the Day series. My name is Advocate Harsh Chotrani and today is your logical reasoning passage of the day time. Now I had took this particular passage from July 28, 2026 and I have taken it from the Hindu editorial. The title that has been given to is Forced Labor Fairs on India and your US new tariff, and here is your passage. I will read the passage first. Somewhere there is a point to make you understand that particular point. I will make you understand that particular point. Then I will show you 6 questions. I will give you 30 seconds to answer while you are seeing this particular video, and then I will tell you which option is the correct option and why that particular option is correct. So the 10% tariff that the United States has imposed on India and several other countries over their imports of goods supposedly made using forced labor is merely an attempt to restore the permanent tariff and once again highlighting the benefit of trade deal with the US. We are seeing it in past what US has been doing with us. It all started with us purchasing the oil from some other place and us not importing as much as they are importing from them. Then the US Supreme Court on February 2026 decision dealt a body blow to the US attempts to secure the trade deals as the main threat of high reciprocal tariff had been removed. The temporary 10% tariff on all countries suffered from two weaknesses. It would expire in 150 days and was levied on all the countries equally regardless of whether they had a deal with the US or not. So this particular thing was the decision of US Supreme Court. The section number 301 forced labor tariff announced recently are more permanent and have craved out the benefit for those with trade deals with the US. For example, while US imports from India will face a 10% tariff over and above the base tariff, the European Union and Taiwan will face a total tariff of only 10% because of their trade agreement. So you see the difference, how much India has to give more other than your European and Taiwan. Moving ahead, similar benefits have been accorded to Japan, South Korea and Switzerland. If stopping forced labor was the primary focus, tariff would have been applied equally across all offenders regardless of their deal status. The tariff would also not have had as many product-wise exemption as country-wise codes as the final version has. So we are seeing other countries as well, and if we move down there is only the question of whether the US should be penalizing other countries for their trade with third parties as India is doing. Now India has not been accused of it directly, obviously using forced labor, yet faces tariff because other in the supply chain have been. India has done well to reduce the proposed 12.5% tariff to final 10% simply by issuing a notification banning the imports of goods made using forced labor. The action itself will be difficult to enforce since it will require countries such as China and Malaysia to allow Indian government officials to visit and investigate their labor condition. One more thing that we have been seeing is your tariff declination. Finally, the passage says, however, uncertainty persists since the other section number 301 investigation on excess capacity is yet to play out. That said, these tariffs should not push India towards rushing into a trade deal, as experience shows that US traffic landscape can change radically even after a deal has been signed. And we have seen the particular person, we are seeing him coming in a press conference and signing and making a decision. So that's why this particular conclusion has been given that India should not rush this trade deals, as we are seeing in past. It has happened when it comes to US that they change these decisions so rapidly even after signing that deal. So this was your passage, and to look into this passage, we are seeing this is a good news. And I thought, since most of your critical reasoning part are from your recent The Hindu passage as well, or your recent issues that are in the society, I try to make this particular passage on that itself. Now we will come to the question part. I will show you the question. I will move aside. You can see that particular questions, and then we will then I will tell you which answer is the correct answer. And let's move to our first question. Which of the following most accurately express the author's primary argument in this particular passage? You have four options here. You need to find out the main conclusion, the main what that particular author is trying to tell in this particular argument, and main point or central thesis. We can also, I will write here your main point or central thesis. So you have been given four options, and I will give you 30 seconds to cover this particular thing, and then I will answer it. So if we see here, see, our editorial directly asserts that the forced label persists in merely an attempt to restore your trade level, leverage posed by the Supreme Court judgment. And we are seeing in option number B that the US section number 301 tariff are primary leverage mechanism to compel trade deals rather than genuine humanitarian invention. Obviously they want to continue it, and they do such thing, and India should not refrain from being rushed into a signing deal. This particular thing we saw at the end of the passage also. So moving on to your next question. Which of the following, if true, would most strongly supports the author claim that stopping forced labor is not the primary motive behind the new US section number 301 tariff? We know we know from the tone of the passage that US wants to sell its product more much. It has nothing to do with it, and you just have to, out of these particular four options, you have to choose that particular option. And the other countries that also were there, US didn't mark those. The traffic parts were not there for other countries. It was somewhere specifically for a particular country, so you can choose that particular option. And see, also we know that forced labor practices are given preference, then your tariff rate were also different. And option number A here shows that several countries which signed US trade deals have documented record of forced labor in export industry but were granted lower traffic rates. And this is a statement that is strongly with the support that it was nothing to do with the tariff part. Moving on to your next question. In concluding that simply issuing the notification won India a tariff reduction despite the notification being difficult to enforce, what key assumption is the author making? Now, if we look at it, we saw a drop of 12.50% to 10%, and despite the notification being admitted here, we also saw US rewarded some formal symbolic compliance rather than waiting with the enforceability. So the initial reduction of tariff, that was your 12.5% to 10 by US, was contingent upon a procedural compliance rather than immediate operating for the proof of enforcement. So your option number B is here the correct option here. If we move down to your next question, based strictly on the passage, which of the statement should be logically inferred? So this question is from your inference part, and as much I think inference is required, and we saw the sentence finally state that expression has shown that US landscape is like this. They change the particular thing at the last. There is no stability after the deal is signed. Also they change these things. So an agreement between two sovereign nations does not offer absolute long-term protection against sudden alteration in US trade policy. So option number C here is your correct option. Next, if I move to your question number 5, your question number 5 says कि how does the author demonstrate that the stated rationale for section number 301 tariff stopping forced labor is incongruent with the policy implementation? Now we saw that the author uses a structural disparity as an evidence कि भाई अगर आप लोगों को फोर्स लेबर ही स्टॉप करना है तो वहां जाके इन्वेस्टिगेट करो और बंद कर दो, और जो ऑफेंडर्स हैं सारे ऑफेंडर्स हैं उनको इक्वली आप ट्रीट करो, किसी को भी अपने स्टेटस ऑफ ट्रेड पे आप मत लेके जाओ, ठीक है? तो फ्यूचर के लिए नाउ इफ वी सी ऑप्शन नंबर, so yeah, internal contradiction. By pointing out internal contradiction is how tariff are applied differently across nation based on your trade deal and status exemption rather than label violation sovereignty. So these were the 5 questions that I put it in this, and one question that is your homework, that is on your parallel reasoning part. So there is a principle here that I have put, that regulatory measures cannot be classified as public welfare standard. Its burden is distributed selectively based on political alliance or economic concession rather than presence of targeted harm. Now, in the light of this passage, which of the following scenario best illustrate the application of this principle? This principle says that I will show you the principle again so you will be able to understand it, that the regulatory measures cannot be classified as a public welfare standard if its burden is distributed selective base. We have seen that India was charged more other than China, Switzerland as well. So we saw on that political allegiance or economic concession rather than presence of the targeted harm. And you have been given 4 options here. These 4 options, which of these 4 options best highlight this particular thing? This is your homework. Let me know in the comment section. Also, this principle that we saw is your welfare policy principle, and if your answer should be based on the political and economic deals rather than what harming a reduction, and your options are there for you. So this was your first passage, and you will see me once again next week on the same day, that is your Wednesday, with yet another passage. And do let me know in the comment section what answer, which particular option is best for your question number 6.